If you're planning a trip to Brooklyn and you love wine, here's the mistake I see people make all the time. They spend all their time chasing reservations at the hottest restaurants, standing in line at trendy food spots, maybe squeezing in one wine bar before heading home. But Brooklyn has one of the most exciting wine scenes in the world. Not because it's producing wine, obviously, but because it's where wines from every corner of the planet collide. By the way, welcome. I'm Hillary Zio, certified sommelier, two-time wine book author, and restaurant owner. After 20 years in the wine industry and visiting over 50 countries, this channel is all about travel for wine lovers. I lived in New York City for over 10 years, and now I'm only 2 hours away. I go in about every season, and I almost always stay in Brooklyn for wine reasons. Because on any given night, you can drink volcanic whites from Sicily, old vine Mencia from Spain, or tiny production bottles from a winemaker you've never heard of. So, after working in the wine industry here and spending countless nights exploring the city's bars and restaurants, these are some of the wine bars I personally keep going back to. And no, this isn't a list of the most famous places. These are the spots that consistently deliver great wine, great hospitality, and the kind of experiences that make you want to stay for one more glass. So let's get into it. First up is Sauced. This place feels like the wine bar equivalent of finding the cool house party that everyone somehow knows about except for tourists. The wine list changes constantly, and one of my favorite things is that the staff actually talks to you. So instead of handing over a giant list and wishing you luck, they ask you to describe what you want. So it's like a verbal wine list. The crowd always feels energetic without being pretentious at all, which is a really hard balance to strike than people realize. And if the weather's nice, head straight for the back patio and take a seat. It somehow manages to feel hidden despite being one of Brooklyn's busiest neighborhoods. This is the kind of place where you show up for one glass and accidentally stay all evening. Next up is Rodora in Fort Greene. One thing I love about this place is its location near the park. You can spend an afternoon wandering Brooklyn, grab a table outside, and settle in for a few glasses while people watching. The list is extensive enough to keep wine nerds happy, but approachable enough that casual drinkers won't feel intimidated. The snacks are excellent, which matters more than people think when you're spending an afternoon tasting wine. Some wine bars treat food sort of like an afterthought, but Rodora definitely does not. This is one of those places that feels equally appropriate for a solo glass, a first date, or just meeting friends for a long afternoon that turns into dinner. If Italy is your thing, go directly to Have and Meyer. Seriously, this place transported me straight back to Italy when I walked in. The focus here is entirely on natural Italian wines, and the selections are fantastic. What I appreciate most is that they don't just stick to the obvious regions. Instead of focusing on the usual suspects, you're going to discover Italian natural wines from tiny producers and obscure regions that deserve far more attention. Honestly, you'd be hard pressed to find a natural Italian wine bar anywhere else, even in Italy. The atmosphere feels relaxed and authentic, and the staff genuinely loves talking about Italian wine. If you've ever wanted to understand why people get so obsessed with Italy's wine culture, this is a great place to start. Order a few different glasses, share some food, and settle in. You'll probably leave wanting to book a flight. Barbette in Cobble Hill is one of those rare places where hospitality is the real focus. Every detail feels so thoughtful without ever feeling fussy. With a French inspired menu, a beautifully designed space, and a wine list that's curated rather than showy, it's the kind of neighborhood spot every city wishes it had. You can ask questions, explore things unfamiliar, feel totally comfortable doing both. The menu is inventive, it's not trying too hard, and every detail feels carefully considered. Next is Anais. Not every wine bar needs to be a big night out. Sometimes you just want a beautiful corner spot with sunlight pouring through the windows. And this is where you're going to find a glass in front of you, and it's just an effortlessly charming spot. You can stop in for coffee during the day and transition into wine later without missing a beat. The wines are approachable, delicious, and just really easy to drink. This isn't the place for a deep dive into obscure wine regions. It's really just a place for enjoying yourself. And honestly, sometimes that's exactly what wine should be about. Now let's talk about the heavyweight on the list, or Horsemen. Yes, it's famous. Yes, can be difficult to get into. And yes, it absolutely lives up to the hype. What I love about Four Horsemen is that every visit introduces me to something I haven't tasted before. And that's not easy to do. The team consistently finds producers and wines that surprise me, The food is phenomenal and the service is outstanding. The entire experience just feels incredibly curated without feeling forced. So, if you're a serious wine lover visiting Brooklyn, this is absolutely a place worth waiting in line for. Just be first. So if Four Horsemen feels like the destination, June feels like the neighborhood wine bar that every wine lover wishes they had around the corner they live. Located in Cobble Hill, June helped put Brooklyn on the map as a serious natural wine destination long before it ever became trendy. The list is deep, always changing, and full of producers that reward curiosity. And while the food is every bit as thoughtful as the wine, what I love most is that it never feels exclusive or intimidating. Whether you're studying wine or just looking for a great glass and a snack, June has a way of making everyone feel welcome. Lastly, LaLou in Prospect Heights. It's one of those places that manages to be both serious and approachable at the same time. The room is so beautiful, hospitality's warm, and the wine list is packed with exciting producers from all over the world. This is the kind of place where you can come as a wine geek and spend an hour talking about obscure grapes, or you could just simply order a glass and have a really great meal without overthinking it. The team does an incredible job of making great wine feel accessible, and that's something I always appreciate. It's elegant without being stuffy and one of the easiest places in Brooklyn to settle in for a long evening. The best wine bars aren't necessarily the ones with the biggest wine lists or the rarest bottles. They're the places that make you want to come back. The places where the staff remembers you and the food is memorable and you discover something new. And then every single glass somehow turns into an entire evening. So if you're heading to Brooklyn soon, save this list for later and let me know in the comments which wine city I should cover next. And if you're wondering how I've been able to spend 20 years working in wine and visiting regions and bars all over the world, my book, brand new, Still Working in Wine After 20 Years, is available now on Amazon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.